It was November 30th in the year 1886 when the Folies Bergere staged its first revue. Once a hall for operettas, pantomime, political meetings, and vaudeville, the Folies Bergere in Paris introduces an elaborate revue featuring women in sensational costumes. The highly popular Place Argent established the Folies as the premier nightlife spot in Paris. In the 1890s, the Folies followed the Parisian taste for striptease and quickly gained a reputation for its spectacular nude shows. The theater spared no expense, staging revues that featured as many as 40 sets, 1,000 costumes, and an offstage crew of some 200 people. The Folies Bergere dates back to 1869, when it opened as one of the first major music halls in Paris. It produced light opera and pantomimes with unknown singers and proved a resounding failure. Greater successes came in the 1870s when the Folies Bergere staged vaudeville. Among other performers, the early vaudeville shows featured acrobats, a snake charmer, a boxing kangaroo, trained elephants, the world's tallest man, and a Greek prince who was covered in tattoos, allegedly as punishment for trying to seduce the Shah of Persia's daughter. The public was allowed to drink and socialize in the theater's indoor garden and promenade area, and the Folies Bergere became synonymous with the carnal temptations of the French capital. Famous paintings by Edouard Manet and Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec were set in the Folies. In 1886, the Folies Bergere went under new management, which on November 30th staged the first revue-style music hall show. The Place Argent, featuring scantily clad chorus girls, was a tremendous success. The Folies women gradually wore less and less as the 20th century approached, and the show's costumes and sets became more and more outrageous. Among the performers who got their start at the Folies Bergere were Yvette Gilbert, Maurice Chevalier, and Miss Tinguet. The African-American dancer and singer Josephine Baker made her Folies debut in 1926, lowered from the ceiling in a flower-covered sphere that opened on stage to reveal her wearing a G-string ornamented with bananas. The Folies Bergere remained a success throughout the 20th century and still can be seen in Paris today, although the theater now features many mainstream concerts and performances. Among other traditions that date back more than a century, the show's title always contains 13 letters and includes the word folie. It was November 30th in the year 1993 during a White House ceremony attended by James S. Brady. President Bill Clinton, our nation's 42nd president, signs the Brady Handgun Control Bill into law. The law requires a prospective handgun buyer to wait 5 business days while the authorities check on his or her background, during which time the sale is approved or prohibited based on an established set of criteria. It was 1981 when James Brady, who served as a press secretary for our nation's 40th president, Ronald Reagan, was shot in the head by John Hinckley Jr. This was during an attempt on President Reagan's life outside a hotel in Washington, D.C. President Reagan himself was shot in his left lung but recovered and returned to the White House within 2 weeks. Brady, the most seriously injured in the attack, was momentarily pronounced dead at the hospital, but survived and began an impressive recovery from his debilitating brain injury. During the 1980s, Brady became a leading proponent of gun control legislation, and in 1987 succeeded in getting a bill introduced into Congress. The Brady Bill, as it became known, was opposed by many congressmen who, in reference to the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, questioned the constitutionality of regulating the ownership of arms. In 1993, with the support of President Bill Clinton, an advocate of gun control, the Brady Bill became law. It was November 30th in the year 2004, after winning 74 straight games and more than $2.5 million, a record for U.S. game shows. Jeopardy contestant Ken Jennings loses. Jennings' extended winning streak gave the game show a huge ratings boost and turned the software engineer from Salt Lake City, Utah, into a TV hero and household name. Barbara Walters named him one of the 10 most fascinating people of the year, and Jennings appeared on such shows as Late Night with David Letterman, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and even Sesame Street. Ken Jennings was born in 1974 outside of Seattle, Washington, and he graduated from Brigham Young University in 2000, where he headed the school's National Quiz Bowl team. At the time of Jennings' appearance, Jeopardy was well established as one of the top-rated game shows in American history. One of my favorite shows, definitely. Jeopardy was created by TV talk show host and entertainment mogul Merv Griffin. Jeopardy debuted in 1964 on NBC with Art Fleming serving as host. Griffin, who went on to create another hugely popular, long-running game show, Wheel of Fortune, which premiered in 1975, suggested a format in which contestants were given trivia answers in a variety of categories and then required to come up with the questions. Canceled in 1975, Jeopardy returned briefly airing from 1978 to 1979. In September of 1984, a syndicated version of Jeopardy launched with Alex Trebek as host and Johnny Gilbert as the announcer. The erudite Trebek, who was born in 1940 in Sudbury, Ontario, began his broadcast career in Canada and moved to America in the early 1970s, where he hosted such game shows as High Rollers and Battle Stars. In 1991, he became the first person ever to host 3 game shows at one time, when he served as Master of Ceremonies for Jeopardy, along with Classic Concentration and To Tell the Truth. After more than 3 decades on Jeopardy, Alex Trebek continued his eternity of stage 4 pancreatic cancer on November 8th in the year 2020. On November 23rd in 2020, it was announced that Jennings would serve as an interim host of Jeopardy.
The information documented and divulged on this audio file can be verified on history.com.